Welcome to the Automation World Get Your Questions Answered podcast, where we connect with industry experts to give the answers you need about industrial automation technologies. I'm David Greenfield, Editor-in-Chief at Automation World, and the question we'll be answering in this episode is, can Internet of Things technology improve safety? Now, joining me to answer this question is Devin Murray with Schmersel USA, a supplier of safety switchgear devices and systems for personnel and machine protection. And Devin works in Schmersel's Technical Engineering Services division called tec.nicum, which focuses on machine safety, such as risk assessments, validations, and training. So thanks for joining us again, Devin. I think this marks your third appearance on our podcast now.
Yeah, for sure. Thanks for having me. Always good questions, too. So hope, we can get some good answers and discussion as usual. So, yeah, thanks for having me.
Yeah, no, I know you always provide good answers, so great. Thanks. We really appreciate you taking part in these. Absolutely.
For sure.
So Devin, we've all heard, lots about the Internet of Things and how the connectivity concepts that underlie it, support the collection and analysis of massive amounts of equipment and process data for, better decision-making around production process improvements. Mm-hmm. But can IoT also be leveraged to improve safety? And, if so, how is that, in its simplest terms, done?
Yeah, sure. So definitely safety can be, applied to the Internet of Things as well. Not only improving safety in general, but also the efficiency with safety. And if you just think about just collecting the information from the sensor level, how often a guard door is opening, or how often a e-stop is being actuated. Sometimes those are actuated, when they're not supposed to or unintentionally. And you can start collecting that type of information and having, historical data, historical information, and say, okay, you know what, these e-stops are, being triggered, tripped, unintentionally, and we have historical data to say, maybe we need to reposition the e-stop. But also that's type of information that you can receive live, right? So let's say there is an instance where someone does hit an e-stop. That's information and data that can be collected immediately. And you can then say, you know what, we want to send that type of information to, all the EHS managers, the plant manager, so that you have that live feedback, that live response. But yeah, there's so many different information data that can be collected from safety components, from, again, the sensor to the logic, that can also be applied to what we see with the automation side from the machines.
So I guess this concept around IoT, that it is an Internet of Things, so to speak, really does translate to anything that's out there on the shop floor, no matter what it is, not just equipment data for, efficiency analysis and such. Okay.
Right, yeah.
So can you explain more, how does this impact, the various safety devices used in manufacturing? I know you touched on e-stops, for example, but, even beyond that, such as safety controllers and sensors.
Yeah, so honestly, looking at devices in the industry from manufacturers that are more involved with the Internet of Things and the Industry 4.0 and the idea of the smart factory, you're seeing more devices being offered that have these built-in smarts, essentially, where they're able to communicate over a local network using some form of protocol. And what we are now seeing is those protocols taken at that local level for the Internet of Things and taken to the cloud base. So we're now seeing a lot more what we call smart devices within the industry. And yes, you can take the electrical mechanical components that are safety rated and can be used for every different type of safety application, and convert a signal and put that on the network. But the idea, behind the smart factories, having those smart devices, right? So we definitely see a lot more of those within the industry, having that built-in capability to communicate.
So for a supplier of safety devices such as Schmersel is, How does that impact what you develop for use in the manufacturing industries, given this, the broader use of these devices now compared to how they were historically used?
Yeah, so I can say honestly that Smurzel, right? We've always been one of those, forward-thinking companies, and we've always had the offering of I'll call it the smart devices, and you can see that back with our original electronic device with the post echo technology. So I don't know if it would if it changes the way that we go to market or what we offer, but definitely expand our offering, I would say. So keeping that same forward mentality, forward thinking that we have with designing and developing products, and implementing more of those safe components, the smart components, I should say. So having our large offering of the safety devices, but incorporating that smart element of it. Again, being able to have the devices from the sensor level to the logic level, being able to communicate more, have more diagnostics, so that we can transmit that information to the cloud and have it for the user, so they can again analyze that data and manipulate it as they need for their particular application for their smart factory.
So, now, looking beyond Schmerzel's products, just in general around this topic, what sort of key devices and features with those devices should manufacturers be looking for that can help them, take advantage of IoT capabilities when they're looking to improve safety?
So first and foremost, really want to make sure that that device can be used for that application, right? So we definitely want to make sure that safety is still first and foremost. And once we're able to find that device from that manufacturer that says, this is going to be safe, appropriate for this application, you want to see if that manufacturer, that device offers that capability to communicate. What type of communication depends on, what type of protocol you want for that machine. But being able to communicate the internal diagnostics of that device, so that you can transmit that data again to the cloud and be able to analyze specific information. So, again, what type of information that you're looking for depends on the application, and depends on what type of information that manufacturer switch can deliver. But again, at the base level, you want to make sure that that device can communicate over some form of a network.
We've talked a lot about, the specific devices and how those devices collect and transmit data. And you've touched a little bit on the aggregation and analysis of this data for safety applications as well. But we're always hearing about, all these edge and cloud technologies that can handle this aggregation and analysis of data. But how, from a safety aspect, how are you seeing manufacturers approach this, when they're looking to improve, both production operations and safety at the same time?
Yeah, so honestly, it's more so of what the device can deliver for diagnostics. And I go back to, as a manufacturer of safety components, and what we've been able to deliver to the industry. And then we've always had a pretty large large information that we can offer from our diagnostics portion. Again, going back to the post echo, and one of the key things I think for manufacturers of these safety components is being able to offer data that the user can take that's going to be valuable, right? Something that's more than just a cycle count of the door opening, but actual status of the actual switch, live information that the user can then again analyze and have this historical information, being able to determine when a device may fail dangerously, or look at the temperature on the solenoid to predict that there may be a failure happening, or look at a light curtain to see if there's any contaminants on it. So more information from the device that the user can actually use for, again, general safety, and then just making their safety process more efficient.
Digging into this just a little deeper, based on your work with, manufacturers in a variety of industries, where would you say things stand now in terms of IoT technology deployment for safety? And yeah, I'm asking this because it's not something that's discussed as much as IoT for production improvements or strategic decision making. So I'm wondering about industry's uptake of IoT for safety specifically.
Yeah, so I think we might have spoke last time too. We spoke about like the collaborative robots and how
Mhm.
there's usually this vast improvement within the industry, and then safety kind of lags behind.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
Almost similar here. That again, there's these vast technologies. You can talk about AI, for example, and then safety kind of lagging behind. But with Internet of Things and the smart factory and Industry 4.0, I can honestly say that the framework for safety it's there already. Right, so at the local level, we can definitely have a safe communication on with the machine, whether it's within a SIP safe or Profi safe. Communication is there. Now the question is taking that information from the local level and now sending it to the cloud, right? And now we have to worry about cybersecurity with functional safety, which wasn't the case before.
Mm.
But there's definitely standards that are in place or in the works at least, where we can apply certain aspects of safety tied with the cybersecurity to make sure that yes, we are having a machine with the safety functions that we can send to the cloud, but make sure that it's still safe, right? And that's safe from a malicious attack or a safe from someone trying to troubleshoot a machine remotely and, manipulating the safeties of it. And again, may not have any ill intent, but maybe not following the right process and procedures and causing an unsafe situation. So yeah, it's the framework is there, but there's definitely some T's that need to be crossed, some I's that need to be dotted in order to say yes, everything is fully in place. Then we can take it to its full capabilities.
So the framework's there, but manufacturers are still, I guess, still in the process of coming along with this, or are you seeing some uptake of that early on anyway?
Well, yeah, I've seen some uptick early on for sure. Again, the standards are there, but just like with any standards, when you look at safety, there's takes some time with the industry to be able to understand the standards and actually apply them. But again, the framework for the cloud base is there. The framework for the safety aspects of cybersecurity and cloud base is there. Now it's just up to the industry to take that information and actually apply it to these smart factories, which is an exciting time for sure. So.
Well, thank you again for joining me for this podcast, Devin. And thanks, of course, to all our listeners. And please keep watching this space for more installments of Automation World. Get your questions answered. And remember, you can find us online at automationworld.com to stay on top of the latest industrial automation technology insights, trends, and news.